Hey YouTube, coming at you with the Beyond the Hype for Poliwrath. So Poliwrath got two boosts overall, and we're going to go over them right now and tell you why it is improved, but why I still think it doesn't have as much play in the Great League, having used it today. So let's just go with two things that happened. So first, Poliwrath got Icy Wind instead of needing to run Ice Punch. So as you can see there, it is 5 more energy for 5 more damage, but it has a 100% chance of lowering your opponent's attack, right? So basically for like less than a counter's worth of energy, you get a little more damage per energy, basically on par, but a 100% chance of lowering your opponent's attack. So that is just a straight upgrade, pretty much, right? Being able to lower your opponent's attack, as you're going to see in some of these matchups, definitely helped. I'm pretty sure I have the Talonflame one in here. No, not Talonflame, Skarmory. This Skarmory one where I'm like able to lower its attack, or Talonflame. One of the two birds I'm able to like lower its attack and then take one of the flying moves and win. So it's a huge upgrade from that perspective. Scald got 2 boosts. Scald's damage went from 80 to 85, so just more damage per energy there. And the percentage chance of your opponent losing one attack is 50%, and it was previously 30. A lot of us expected it to go from 30 to 40, but it actually went from 30 to 50. So that is even more of an improvement on it. Having played with it today, I used the non-shadow version. So if you look up Poliwrath, there's 2 versions you can use, the shadow and the non-shadow. And even in both movesets right now, they're saying Scald and Icy Wind is the way to go. I did analysis in my which move to use video, and basically the Poliwrath you can use, I think use counter and Icy Wind on the shadow. The non-shadow you have to use Scald and Icy Wind because you just don't have the shadow bonus in the counter to do the damage here. It's ranked 16th and 28th, which is actually a decrease from last season, and it's because the meta has changed. And what I found today is that the way that the current meta is set up, Poliwrath has very little play right now. Skarmory jumped in. So Skarmory's actually not a bad matchup because Steel Wing is resisted because Steel is resisted by water. So in that matchup, you're hitting neutral with counters. They're hitting super effective with Sky Attack and Brave Bird, but you can hit neutral with Icy Wind and Scald and lower their attack enough that you can just counter Icy Wind, combo them down. So the Skarmory matchup was actually the easiest matchup. Where it got extremely tough is look at the rest of the top 10 meta here. Lickitung and Registeel, fine. Carbink, okay, actually good. Where it sucks, Azumarill, you have absolutely nothing to throw. Mantine, you have nothing to throw. Well, you have Icy Winds, but not enough to flip that matchup. Pelipper, gonna lose that one. Gligar, you just get outpaced by the Wing Attack Airlace compared to the Icy Wind, so you're gonna lose that matchup. And then Swampert, yeah, Swampert's a win, Vigoroth's a win. Toxapex, you have nothing to throw. And it was just like a lot of Lantern, you just get lit up. There in Talonflame, you're both resisted. Fast moves, counter, incinerate are both resisted on each other. But then it's just Fly super effective versus Icy Wind neutral or Scald super effective. A bit of a bait game there. But that is the top 20 ranked Pokemon, and there are 10 that you either have nothing to throw against or you're just going to lose just getting outpaced, unlike the Gligar matchup. And that's basically what I found today. There was a team. So my first thought was like, Lantern is everywhere. I need to go against Lantern. So what I did was my team is, if I just hide this for a second here, my team is Charjabug and Castform. So Charjabug because Spark Lantern, you'll resist the Sparks, you'll take that matchup easy. Plus you're just generally a Flyer answer, but you're not a Gligar answer. So I need a Gligar answer. I can't really use with this team like an Ice Pokemon because I'm double weak to Rock. So I put it in Castform because Castform is an interesting one because it's like you have Weather Ball, Rock, double super effective on Talonflame. You also had the Energy Ball for all the Azumarills and stuff coming up. So Castform is kind of a smart move here. But in the ending, I think there are just too many top-ranked Pokemon that are going to beat you. We haven't even gotten to Superior yet. We haven't even gotten to Wiggly and Fairies yet. Your typing on Poliwrath hinders you way more than it helps you in the Great League, in my opinion. So here are the resistances and weaknesses. So you resist Steel. Like I said, that getting that Steel ring resistance is nice. Rock, Water, Ice, Fire, Dark, and Bug. Not bad, all right? There's a decent amount of those. But also Electric, Fairy, Flying, Grass, and Psychic. But like the first four in particular are everywhere. Everywhere in the Great League right now. And because of that, I think that Poliwrath is probably a little overrated in the Great League right now. Has play, and I think it's actually going to be a menace in Ultra League. I'm way more excited to use this in the Ultra League than it was in the Great League. So let's look at some battles. Like I said, I think the team you probably need to build a bit better if you're using Poliwrath anyways. But like, that's the thing. You need to counter, okay, Flyers is the obvious one. But Flyers is a mixture of just like normal flying, like Golbat and Mantine and Mandibuzz, which is all like Charjabug, but then like Gligar. So Gligar is the killer. And it's like, okay, but you also need to cover grass. So like you need an answer for grass and a flyer ground. And you need an answer to fairy. And you need an answer to, what was the fourth one I said? Electric. And it's just like there's so many different things that you need in this meta. And you're still going to lose the majority of like the ghost Pokemon, right? Because your counter's resisted. So yes, you'll get to Icy Wind and Scald. But against like most ghost Pokemon, you're going to lose too. So it really is limited in the Great League. So let's look over some battles. So good lead here with that. There is the Gligar immediately. And again, this is where it wasn't bad. I had Tackle. I have Weather Ball, a Rock Slide Weather Ball. You could, Castform has like various Weather Balls. I think it has a normal one as well. So you can use that as an option if you want to use Castform. You don't need, again, you don't need to use Castform. I just thought it was like kind of fun. After this goes down, I'm just like, I can't really shield. I'm just going to come back in Charja. I know it's double resisted, but it's like, I know it's single resisted with electric, but it's low enough that between this and being the shadow, I can just take this out anyways. So able to take this out despite not having a good matchup there. So I have this answer for Skarmory. Here comes another Mud Boy. And this is where Poliwrath is essentially going to have to somewhat carry this team. So I come in here and they come in Skarmory. And this is where it's good, right? So I just go straight Icy Wind, which is kind of it is a mistake and it's not a mistake, right? Getting the guaranteed lowering the attack. Scald is obviously way harder hitting, but you got to kind of shield up anything. And then I thought like, you know, if I double shield here, or I just go straight Scald. Yeah, I go straight Scald the second time because I've already lowered their attack once. I'm like, might as well just hit the harder hitting move up, get the attack fall there, right? It's a 50% chance. Now I have some energy, right? So it actually has some good play against Skarmory. Mud Bomb's not going to take me out, but I'm like, you know what? I bet you if I Icy Wind this right away, they're not going to be able to take me out with the Mud Bomb for sure, guarantee that. And then I think I catch on the Charjabug just to make sure that I don't go down. So again, it's not that it's useless. It definitely has played. The Mud Boys are popping up more. Talonflame is there. Talonflame, again, is a tricky matchup. Skarmory, like I just showed, is a not bad matchup if you have like, because counters are neutral, Icy Wind and Scald are all neutral, and Steel Wing is resisted, so it's not bad. Icy Wind lowers the attack. Pro, but as you're going to see in some of these other matchups, it's tough. It's tough with the meta. Like the one team, I think one team was like Gligar, Pelipper, Lantern or something stupid like that. I'm just like, okay, that's great. So Whiscash, terrible lead. I used this as a safe swap on the team, which was okay in a lot of cases. Because even if you get hit with like a fly or something, you can hit super effective. Grass, you can hit super effective, right? Here comes the Skarmory. The problem is they've chipped enough now that is going to be very difficult for me to flip switch here because I think they're just going to outpace. But you know what? Those counters are adding up. I may at least try to get one shield back here. I'm just going straight Scald. Again, maybe they'll think like Icy Wind won't take me out, so they'll let this go. And they do, so that's good. So I flip switch, but then there's your freaking Gligar, right? So maybe you want to try doing something like a Poliwrath, something to deal with Gligar, like an N flyer. So you can do something like a, I was gonna say Frostlass. Frostlass is not bad. You'd have a little trouble with like Trevenant, but there's not a ton of those right now. Going for the energy ball, I remember landing a couple of these on Mud Boys, and they definitely do not expect it. So there is one of them. Goodbye. But unfortunately, 2 times in these Gligar matchups, I get to the weather ball right as they go down. Right, just have it, just go down. That happened a couple times today, and it's just like, okay, Charge Bug is a crap matchup. So this is team building. This is on me. I was covering the Lantern and the general flyers with Charge Bug, but I kind of just overlooked Gligar to a certain extent because I thought like Icy Wind, this is fine. I can just Icy Wind this, but no, you can't just Icy Wind this because you're just going to get outpaced significantly. So Charge Buzz against Granbull. I make a mistake here. I know, as you're going to see, I know Bug is resisted by Fairy. Okay, this one I go straight electric. There was one matchup that I was running Charge Bug into a Fairy, and I figured they would shield like that, and I threw X-Scissor and they didn't shield, and I was just like, fine. Like this one did double shield, which was expected. So yeah, it was annoying from that perspective. So the tackles here, doing an okay amount. I figured they can maybe get to close combat as an option, so I end up shielding this. They have a second move. Hopefully it's just a crunch. I really don't want to commit 2 shields here. Yeah, just a crunch. So I will take this down. Out comes Azumarill, right? So this is where I am glad I had Cast Form, because you need to like chip with the energy ball. They go for the aggressive bubble down, and I get to a move which now basically just puts this in counter range, which is huge. So switch, bubble resisted. They need to get 2 Poliwraths off because I'm going to shield one. They're going to need to get a second one off, which I don't think they do if I remember. Yeah, they do not. And then they quit because I think they have something like weak to this in the back. Charge Bridge against Defense Deoxys. This is a good lead. As long as they don't have Rock Slide. They catch on a Nidoqueen. So nice catch. I really don't have an answer to Nidoqueen, right? This is resisted. Poliwrath counter is resisted. Icy Wind and Scald are super effective, but I think I just get like outpaced with the Poison Jabs, Poison Fangs in that matchup anyways. So I come in here. I assume they do not know the moveset on Cast Form, so I just go, this is resisted. Like you can run a double normal weather ball, like a rock weather ball and a normal weather ball if you want on normal Cast Form. I end up going down here and I'm doing the same thing I did with a Gligar matchup, is just coming back in here to a bad matchup just to take this out. What are the other movesets on? I think it's a normal weather ball, rock weather ball, energy ball, and maybe there's one more. So normal Cast Form is ranked 424 FYI. It has Hex as well. So you could run Hex and Hurricane. It has Hurricane as a nuke. So basically sacrificing this here, which ends up costing me the game because they get to move here. I needed to commit to the farm down, couldn't get it. And now I'm going to lose this matchup. I should have probably shielded that one on the Thunderbolt, quite honestly. If I shielded the Thunderbolt, I think I probably could have come out with energy. But now I have like 2.5 X-Scissors, but they're going to outpace me to the foul play. So I think Poliwrath is probably, yeah, like I said, is better suited for the Ultra League. In terms of, I'm going to just let these battles play out, and if there's something that comes up, I'll talk about it. But let's just talk about the actual meta right now. This is probably the one where I throw X-Scissor and they don't shield. The meta, I have between doing poorly here and Wigglytuff team coming this afternoon, which I did okay with to start, and then I went on a huge losing streak. First of all, I don't know why I'm facing like just pure meta teams this early. I have faced so many just straight like Lickitung, Gligar, Lantern is everywhere. Talonflames, just like everyone. I think I maybe land a energy ball here. Like everyone seems to be running meta. So what is meta at this point? It is basically the somewhat same meta as last season, right? You have everything that I just mentioned. Lickitung, Carbanks I saw a bunch of. Medis I have not seen a ton of yet. Glygars I've seen a ton of. A lot of people, Lanterns are everywhere. Talonflames are everywhere. And a lot of the Mud Boys, right? Because I think Mud Boys are a good option because they will beat Lantern and they will beat Flyers. Like, for sure, Talonflame and the other matchup is actually quite close too because Steel Wing is resisted on waters. So I think the Mud Boys have a huge increase in use this season. And then some of these new, more buff Pokemon you're seeing more of. I saw a ton of Azumarils. I saw a decent amount of Vigoroths. Not a ton of Toxapex and Clodsires yet, but I think that will change. So yeah, and I've like a few Wigglies. Like Skeldurge is now at 43, so I think people are trying that. I saw a lot of Arctibax, right, as a Dragon Ice. The Dragon just being able to do great against like Electric and like I said, Dragon should increase because of Grass and Electric and Fire, right? So they should increase. So that, in my opinion, is the meta right now. So the question is, where do you go from here? Well, where I'm going is just trying out every Pokemon, right? So Wigglytuff this afternoon, Vigoroth, not in this order particularly, but Vigoroth, Toxicroak, Azumarill, Ninetales, basically two, and again, Jellicent. I have nothing to throw at Jellicent. And I had this on the lead for 2 battles, so you're going to see it on the lead for 2 battles here. But yeah, so I'm going to try, not in this order, but basically everything that got buffed or a new move. So you'll see Azumarill, you'll see the 2 fighters, Toxicroak and, I mean, Vigoroth's not a fighter, but it has a counter thing. You're going to see Ninetales. You will see, I already did Talonflame. I did Talonflame with Skarmory yesterday. What else got a, like Skeldurge and stuff? I don't feel the point of running Skeldurge, and someone mentioned Saladin. I don't feel the need to run those because I already ran Talonflame, so I understand. I already went over the full, like, watch that video from yesterday afternoon. I already go over the full pros and cons of running an Incinerate 5-turn fast move, so I don't need to run another Pokemon. So I will try. What other Pokemon? I'm just going down the rankings, and there's nothing in the top 75. So I'm going to just quickly go to the actual listing to see if there's anything that I'm missing. But I have an idea of what are good Pokemon. I'm going to give you, if you're still around, lucky you, because I'm going to give you the top 5 Pokemon that I think are going to be super, super strong in this meta that aren't just Lantern and stuff like that at the end of this video. So stay tuned as I look at Mudslap. I don't think there's any Mudslap buff thing that I want to test. I don't think I want to test. Don't need to test Iron Tail. Don't need to test Astonish or anything. And then I already said I'm not testing any of those. Trailblaze Pokemon. Someone mentioned like Staraptor with Fly. I think it's still just kind of niche. And I understand Fly, having used Talonflame already. And then that's it. So we're at the actually end of the Pokemon. Whiscash with Scald. I will use Whiscash with Scald, but I actually think Whiscash with Scald is probably going to be one of my top secret picks. Okay, so if you've made it 19-20 into this video, where am I going from here? I think there's a couple places you go. I've already mentioned dragons. I used on my video this afternoon with Wiggly, I used Dragonite, because if you're going to use Wiggly, you basically need to use it as a 2-shield option. So I used Dragonite as a way to grab shields with the Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw superpower combo. So I still think dragons, given this current meta, is going to be great. Skarmory makes it a little trickier now, but that is why I'd run either Arctibax or Guzzlord or Dragonite, so you can at least hit neutral with Superpower, Crunch, or Avalanche. Other than that, I think between all the flying type Pokemon and like flying waters, and just trying to keep them away from fairies if you can, like pair dragons with something that can beat fairies, Carbinks, Azumarill, stuff like that. But I think the dragons, Dragonite, Arctibax, Guzzlord, I think they all are going to have a ton of play in this meta. So that's one I'm building around. Two, I haven't used Whiscash yet. I did use Quagsire, Double Shadow with Aqua Tail and Mud Bomb on that team that you're going to see this afternoon with Wiggly. And it's a strong, the Mud Boys are strong right now. So Whiscash, Quagsire, Swampert, I think all of them are very, very strong right now because you have Lanturns everywhere. You have Talonflames everywhere. You have just like neutral matchups, even against like Azumarill and stuff like that. Like you can just like hang in there with a lot of these. And now having like Scald and Aqua Tail and stuff for Gligar, I think the Mud Boys are high on my list to use. If you're just looking for like an overall safe, I keep looking at Lickitung at 3. I think if I need like 1 or 2 safe swaps right now in this league, the 2 safe swaps I'm using are Lickitung and Gligar. I think they are just still probably the safest. Let me actually just go to PvPoke and see if that has changed. They have Pelipper at 1, but then Lickitung and Gligar are 2 or 3. And that does not surprise me. They have Vigoroth at 4 now, though, so that's an increase. And Poliwrath at 6. And I actually found like Poliwrath at 6 was actually not bad as a safe swap. But Lickitung, Gligar as the 2 and 3 safe swaps are not surprising to me one bit. I think both of those are very, very safe. And if I need to build a balanced team or something like that, I'm probably using those as a safe swap. So we got Dragons, we got Mud Boys, we got just meta Lickitung and Gligar as safe swaps. I think that Clodsire and Toxapex, it's so interesting now with Skarmory. I think I can't promote Mud Boys and then promote those two. I think Toxapex and Clodsire are going to see a bump. But if I'm going to run Mud Boys now and Skarmories are everywhere, it makes it a little trickier to run Toxapex and Clodsire, but I think they could potentially be strong. Lantern doesn't count, but yeah, Lantern's on like 80% of teams I've seen over the last like few days. Let me just go down this list. I haven't tested these yet, but I think they'll make their way up there. Although Abomasnow is now going to take it worse against Skarmory. But I mentioned Abomasnow, and for 2 battles before I switched the team, I used Credilli. I think those Pokemon that just have double typings, wide coverage, like Abomasnow and Credilli, I think those are going to be quite strong. And then, if you're not seeing a ton of ghosts, which I'm not right now, in my thing, right? If you search ghosts on thing, like Skeletor with Incinerate is now number 1 on the list at 43, but Sableye has dropped all the way to 69. Frostlass with all the fire has dropped to 80. I think Defense Deoxys, if you have it, is going to be very, very strong in this meta because Defense Deoxys just has the bulk and it has either Psycho Boost, Thunderbolt, Rock Slide to just deal with the majority of the meta, right? So if just look at the top of the list again, right? Skarmory, you can run Thunderbolt, it's super effective, neutral with counters. Carbinks, neutral with counters. Lickitung, super effective with counters. Azumarill, super effective with Thunderbolt. Minis have dropped, but you do decent there, right? Actually, really well there if they can only throw Ice Punch at you. But then there's like Mantine, Pelipper, hit super effective there. If you get like a weird matchup like Gligar, you can just Psycho Boost and Bail. Vigoroth now. Toxapex, like there's just so many Pokemon on this list. Poliwrath with Thunderbolt. Like there's so many Pokemon on this top 20 list that a bulky Deoxys can just kind of go wild on. So if I'm actually making like a hardcore try team, something like Defense Deoxys plus Gligar plus a third is probably where I'm going to grind to like grind some wins. So just keep that in mind moving forward. I will probably do that because I'm going to run out of these new Pokemon. Probably by like next like Tuesday or Wednesday. So I will do a couple try hard teams and it's going to be something like that. Like I think some of those teams are are just going to dominate. But that is it. Stay tuned this afternoon for Beyond the Hype with Wiggly. And that is it. So I appreciate you watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.